Alright, I've got another video to throw in here before I get ready for the day. I was watching Outer Darkness, episode 9 of season 3 of Big Love. And I think this must have been the season that Hollywood Video back in the day did not have available to rent, and probably because the Mormon Church had it banned. Because it gives the veil ritual, and it is almost correct, but that's not the point that I wanted to bring out. And the point that I wanted to bring out is Mormons. Think logically. Brigham Young established the temple ritual. He's the one who wrote it out, not Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith started his temple ritual, but Brigham Young created a whole new one, merged it with Freemasonry. That's why the square and compass, Freemasonry. And if you're not going to do your research, you're not going to know the truth. But it was to be kept a secret. Brigham Young purposely kept it a secret, not just because it's the Freemason ritual that is to be kept secret in Freemasonry, but also because he doesn't want things to get out that he put in to the Freemasonic temple, such as committing suicide if you violate the covenants. That was a big one that lasted all the way to 1991. Thus, that's why I know about it, because I went in 1989, 2 years before the change. And so, understand, Mormons, that it's not a secret. You can go on YouTube. People have snuck in recording devices to various temples and have recorded the temple ceremony. Not the new one yet. I'm sure that'll be coming, although I'm sure the church has been trying to crack down since that leaked. But people know. People know the names, signs, and tokens. They know the text that you give at the veil, which is the whole temple process. As they say in the introduction, the temple is to receive your own endowments, to pass through the angels, to stand as sentinels, being enabled to give them the key words, signs, and tokens pertaining to the holy priesthood, and gain your eternal exaltation. There's errors in that. I'm missing some parts, but you get the idea. You believe that the temple has to be kept a secret so that no unclean thing can enter into the kingdom of heaven. If word got out about the name, signs, and tokens, you have been taught to believe that God's plan is ruined. Thus, the need for secrecy. And you call it sacred and all this other apologetic nonsense. Yeah, that the Holy Temple by Packer. Keep it a secret. Don't let anybody know. You know, he was a big, hardcore authoritarian on that matter, and the church elevated that book in prominence. And so the pamphlet version is given to everyone, if not the book version, to everyone who's going to go through the temple for the first time. And so, yeah, Mormons are paranoid. They're scared to death that God will strike them down with lightning. Doctrine and Covenants 85:8, which is Brigham Young referring to Joseph Smith, who was murdered. But yet Mormons have been led to believe by Brigham Young that it has to do with them if they become apostate. No. Read it again. And so, yeah, the church has put this fear of God in you. God is not a God to fear. Mormons. He's a God of love, remember? You know, families can be together forever in Heavenly Father's plan. I always want to be with my own family, even though it's not my parents or my children. It's just my wife. As we go throughout eternity on another planet, not God's planet, another planet, where we have our own children and go through the process that way. See, you messed that whole theology up, Mormons. You honestly believe that you have to control your children, force them to be obedient, force them to go to church, force them to go on missions, force them to get the priesthood, force them to get married in the temple, force them on missions, if I hadn't said that already. And force, force, force. Whose plan of salvation was that? Not God's. Guess who? Lucifer. And so you guys get all traumatized over a child who doesn't want to be in a church that's so abusive. And yet you don't worry about other members who are not your family members. You don't care about them. You're only concerned about your own family. Because you honestly think that they won't be with you, with Heavenly Father on His planet in the celestial kingdom. I did a video on how the Saturday's Warrior has messed things up for Mormons with non-authorized doctrinal creations, Mormon myths. And this is another one, Mormons. The plan of salvation is for couples. It's not for families. The couple is the basic family unit. You will not be exalted on the same planet with your children. Because what about your parents? Don't they get to have you with them on their planet? And so on and so forth, back to Adam? Trillions upon trillions. All together on a single planet. All having trillions upon trillions exponentially. There's not enough room on a planet. So don't be dumb. Think these things through. If you're going to have a theology, don't put problems in it where little kids can go, if there were no sisters, who did Cain and Abel marry and have kids with? Catholics have been having that problem. But, you know, you got to think things through, Mormons. So, yes, the temple is not a secret. It is a ritual designed to symbolically teach you of the whole plan of salvation. Premortality, earth life as mortals, afterlife. That's the temple ritual symbolism. What do you think baptism is? You know, Catholics have it wrong when they think that sprinkling is the right way to go. It destroys the symbolism. What is the symbolism of baptism? Oh, death, burial, resurrection, and ascension. Yeah, that's one aspect of it. What about procreation? You recognize the symbolisms going on with procreation with baptism? No, you haven't. So, yes, women, the child in your womb, how did it get there? And then what is it in stasis? It's underwater. Then the water breaks and the child emerges, just like the land in the creation story. Land rises as the waters are separated. Magical. And then the birthright blessing son gets a double portion. Square and compass. Interesting. So, come on, guys. Think these things through. You know, the leaders of the church aren't telling you this. They don't know. So, yeah, don't be paranoid about talking about the temple. Joseph Smith intended the temple to give Mormons added knowledge to spread to the world, to talk about what they learned in the temple, to get people to come to the church to go to the temple as well. That was the original intention. It was Brigham Young who changed it. Now it's a superstitious, paranoid fear that you go to the temple to gain secret knowledge that others don't get, and you have the fear that you'll be struck down or have to kill yourself if you disclose the secret information. And then it'll ruin God's plan because unworthy people will be able to give the keys, signs, and tokens of the Melchizedek priesthood to the angels who stand as sentinels. So, all right, so that was it. That was all I wanted to discuss. So, cut it out, Mormons. And by the way, it's the end of the world today, so I hope you have your food, because it's uncertain as to the response that's going to happen as a result of the 7 o'clock meeting tonight on national TV. If you don't know about it, so yeah, it's uncertain. You know, he'll declare it. People will immediately take it to the courts to try to stop it, but it's going to be implemented right away. And so there's going to be some panic among the populace, and it's unclear as to whether or not the courts will overturn it in time before mass chaos, destruction, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria occurs. So I hope you got your food. At least get some food for the month. Today. Rush the stores today. The storm is coming. It will trap you in your homes. Get your food. You know, it always disturbs me when a storm is coming in a few hours or overnight, and people rush the stores at the last minute. And of course, the stores are now emptied, and so people go without supplies as a result. But that is a known threat. Here we have a potential threat threatened by the person who's going to be making the threat. And so nobody's sure how to respond, or if he's telling the truth, or what the consequences of what he's going to do tonight is going to be. I am telling you right now, your prophets are not going to tell you. I'm telling you, get your food. You know, there's no harm in it. You know, it's a good thing anyway. You don't have to go buying food the next day if nothing happens. You know, just please. You guys chose not to build your ark with the flood coming. So I'm at least begging you to get your food. Get to the store to buy the oil reserves. Hurry. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I just